We're back in session.
And I just need you to sign one.
Wow, there's a lot of them.
Yeah. There are 4 of them.
And then we have to make a motion to.
Yep. Now legally we do sell them, but nobody ever takes and registers them for some reason.
No?
No. It's very, very rare to find somebody who actually follows through and
Oh, you mean the
Takes them.
person who purchases?
Right.
Record them.
records them. They never take them to the registry and record them.
Oh.
Like I found like 3 when I went looking because I wanted to see how.
I have a question. So they can be sold to people who don't live in Sangerville? That's interesting.
Several of those don't.
Great, that's why I was asking.
But I think you'll find they're being buried near family members, other family members. Or may have once lived in.
Anything further on cemetery deeds?
No, just a motion that we approve them, I guess.
Okay, so I'll do that, right?
Yes, please.
Make a motion to approve the sale of cemetery lots. The first one will be lot number C and D in plot number 24 of the Townhouse Cemetery. The second one is part 4, plot 4, lot 31 as part of the Village Cemetery. The third is in the new section, plot 11, lots B, C, and D as part of the Townhouse Cemetery. And the fourth one is plot number so plot number 24, lots number A and B.
Second.
In the Townhouse Cemetery.
Second.
We all vote. It's unanimous. B, schedule the annual town meeting.
I had somebody ask the other day, they wanted, somebody from the Historical Society wanted to plan.
Oh, for the dinner?
Yep.
Oh. Well,
That's great, because then I have to get my nomination papers.
Oh, that's right. That's you have work to do. Well, we kind of go with the budget committee. I mean,
Yeah.
we were March last year, right?
Weren't we in February?
In February.
We were
We're
in
in
February.
February?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. We were like the last week of February. 10 days. They were because somebody had come up to me and said, why did you move this? I said,
Right.
well, we could have done it next week. It would have been February, or it would have been March again.
I mean, we could do it January 2nd if there was a way to get budgetary reasons done, but that's not possible, and we all understand that. But
Right.
there's no sense I liked it in February because that took all the pressure off. It was gone.
That's right.
I mean,
Yeah,
and it weren't that clunky to get there.
And we're not working without a budget. Working without a budget is pain. That's why we
wanted to just get it
why are we sitting on our hands? Let's get our budget together.
Get it approved and go.
Approved. So I don't know why, target wise, I'd use last year's date.
Okay, I have one complaint that it was vacation week.
Okay, so
Turnout was excellent.
Yeah.
I'm just
Yeah, that's fine.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
telling you that
Did you only have one? Because I didn't hear.
I've
I didn't
only
hear that
had one.
well,
I've only
that's
had
pretty good
one.
then.
And they liked the fact that it was a weeknight. I don't, but that's my personal opinion.
I like it because it gets it done and
Yeah.
over with
It
during
does.
the day.
Yeah,
Too many people don't have enough, seem
Right,
to,
and then
it's
they
more of a
make-
social and it just stretches that.
And I really like letting the Historical Society feed first, because almost a lot of people came and said, look, we're gonna eat.
yeah.
And that way I don't have to go home.
I think they liked
Yeah,
the Historical Society, my impression is they liked that as well.
well, and I think they did very well
Mm-hmm.
with that as well.
Yep. So I'm inclined to stick to that format personally, as
Yep.
opposed to blowing up a Saturday morning, and, cause there was even a period there where we would bifurcate the meeting just so people would eat. And that just doesn't, that just seems,
drags it out.
let people
Yeah.
come, let people eat if they wanna eat, and then get the meeting done and go home.
Well,
Yeah.
there was a time when we had the meeting afterwards and there was still a lot left to cover and everybody'd gone home anyway.
Well, and that's what, I know I've heard complaints about that, because there were some people that didn't want to attend a meal like that. And so when they did have that meal break on Saturday,
They left.
they left,
Right.
you know, they weren't
Yeah.
coming back,
Yeah.
so.
I saw people who ate lunch and left it. You're
Sure.
there and that's like, okay.
No, I really liked it the way we did.
And you know, it doesn't, we've done a few now, during the week, and our turnout is not bad, so I mean, if we were getting A, lots of complaints, and B, poor turnout, then maybe we'd
Then-
have to rethink
right,
it, but
rethink it,
that
but-
seems like the opposite's happening. Very few complaints and turnout's good.
And actually, I've gotten wicked good responses about it being during a weeknight, and some of the best town meetings, positive town meetings, you know, and really like how they've been going,
Yeah.
so.
Well, I got one definitely for weeknights and one for not having it on school vacation. Those are the only two that I've heard.
But, and which is.
Same person, actually.
Well, so that's
Oh,
one,
there
but,
you go.
which week is school vacation week?
Isn't it
The
third?
third, it's usually the third week in February.
I don't have a problem with having it the second week, if we can get ready, we basically.
Or any mind going to the fourth.
Do that,
I'd rather go fourth than second, but.
We was way early, we weren't pushing
We
it.
basically, all we did is we had it as early as we could.
We could've had it the first week of February.
Yeah.
Yeah, as
as
long
long
as
as the
lots of-
budget is ready, yeah.
Well,
That all
we're
went
doing
well.
a pre-audit in November, so theoretically,
You'll have a better idea after
yeah.
Well, I think what everybody, and that's what my opinion anyway, the budget committee last year, the numbers were presented, they were honest numbers, they were real, we didn't balloon anything. And
So-
there's not really much there to argue about. I mean, we can nickel and dime it a little here or there, but there's not a lot of fluff involved in this anymore,
Yeah.
so.
When
It
we,
was a pretty straightforward process.
when Dale and I
Yeah,
started,
it was-
the first time we worked together was on the budget committee. And that process was basically.
He was there.
I was
Yeah,
like,
you were there, exactly. We were presented like a wish list. Everything was inflated, it was difficult to get real numbers. At times it was actually combative.
Yeah,
This isn't like that at all anymore now. We basically stripped this thing to the bone.
This is what we spent.
Here's what we
this is
think it's gonna take to run the town. Everybody looks at it and says, yeah, I guess you're about right. And
It took one night, I think.
It was one night.
I think we presented it, and I think the following meeting, they were done.
That's right.
There's nothing to argue about.
Right, and because they weren't having to dig for anything, because
No.
it,
We presented honest, what we
Right.
actually spent for everything,
right.
so.
So February, that's what I was doing, I was just looking at February, so what night did we did we usually do
Wednesday
it?
or Thursday, I can't remember.
But there's a
Oh.
good full fourth week in February, so February 24th is Monday and 28th is Friday. So 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, so there is a fourth week in February.
the only thing I think we talked about this is if you target an early week and you have some
Oh,
horrendous
that's right.
issue or weather,
That's-
that gives
then
you
we
a
have
chance
a-
to get it
Sure.
the fourth week.
Right,
that's all.
without really kicking it way out.
Right.
I mean, we could shoot for the second week from February, and don't you think if we're
we don't
doing a
have to
pre-audit?
pick tonight, but I thought we needed to,
Well, I
Yeah.
think that's kind of the lay of the land right there.
okay.
And I think Dale's right, this budget is just not gonna take very long.
Okay.
It's not like it used to
But
be.
there's nothing that, you don't have to start until, you can start having budget committee in December.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't see the honest year-end numbers, but you can start, so everybody gets the understanding that, you know, this approach worked last year, and we're gonna go with the same concept. and you can give them year to date where you're at. They kinda get a feel for it. A lot of numbers in December to Jan, they're not gonna change much.
Right, they
And
aren't. A lot of
so, I mean, if you're worried about being able to get it done in time, that is an option. You can start a little earlier.
I haven't started it yet, but I was taking it with me, so, this
Oh.
next week, so I'll have, I mean,
Sounds like your
it's,
vacation's much
I
of a
know.
vacation.
well, I'm gonna kick back and relax, and if I do a little budget work and then don't feel
On your
like,
own pace, huh?
yeah,
Okay, that's
Yeah, but it's
good.
different when you're sitting around the camper or by a
Yeah.
campfire on your
Yeah.
laptop than it is.
yeah,
you
Yeah,
know.
that's good.
Yeah.
So I bring my laptop home on the weekend. I don't
Yeah.
mind puttering.
right. I'll
It's not
just
the
putter
same.
on it, and I will remember to send all of you, the lodge has a satellite phone. If you had, I don't know what I'd do about it if you had an emergency, but you could call, call them if,
Well, I mean, we're gonna
We'll
have
call
to,
Mike.
Yeah.
we're gonna have to rely on
Yeah.
the ladies in the office for the most part.
That's right.
I mean,
Yeah, I mean, they can get a hold of one of us. I mean, if there's anything we can do to help out, we will. I mean,
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think you
You will,
can
you will
kinda,
be paving.
yeah.
Oh, that's right.
but Seth, I'm sure will be,
Yeah.
You can
So
kinda
that was
deputize him
gonna be
while you're
his,
gone.
his,
He'll
yeah.
back you up, I'm sure.
yeah.
We never did confirm with, maybe you did the, not depth, but the width of the road.
Right now, it's running about 22 feet,
That's
so,
wide.
so if we pave the 20 that we're planning on, then you've gotta.
Does
All
Seth
kinds of
know
trouble.
that?
Yeah.
Does Seth, he
Yeah.
knows
Seth
that,
told,
okay.
Yeah,
Seth
Okay.
told me that.
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
So we're good.
That's the only thing that
We will
we
have a
wanna
shoulder.
make sure that the day they
Well, that was a
start.
conversation. That's why we, in the same way when we talked about the paving,
Okay,
because we questioned whether or not they were doing that at 21 or at 20.
so
'Cause
20,
We want 20.
okay, okay, and.
My
okay,
road is 20, the
Okay.
French's Mills Road is 20.
Okay.
That'd be
Oh,
a nice policy. I mean,
Yeah.
somehow, something there too. So
Yeah.
going
Standard.
forward, 20,
20.
Well, that's what I'm
That's a
looking for, some standards. This
Yeah,
is
yeah,
what, this
because
is what we
then,
want.
then you just look it up.
Tell you another project, and we've been harping on this one, is we've got some roads that we need to either abandon or discontinue.
Yep.
They're just sitting there.
Yep.
And we just gotta take the action, do the work, spend a little bit of money, but they should be off the inventory.
but as far as on our end, it's not a lot of work.
It isn't.
No.
And it's not a lot
It's
of
just
money.
steps, it's
Yeah.
just steps
Steps
and
and
doing
times.
them,
Yeah.
and having a
Couple
hearing.
of meetings here
Yeah,
and
yeah.
there
And
yeah,
targets,
for
we
you.
gotta figure out which ones they're gonna be, but
Yep.
we all have some in mind.
Well, you gotta just send them to me, cause I started working a little bit on that and,
Okay,
Oh.
well,
Yeah.
again, that's a good winter project.
Yeah.
right,
Get ready,
Just chip
because
them
you gotta
along.
have those, you gotta present those at town meeting,
right,
so,
That's right.
and I'd love to have that ready.
okay.
Another thing we wanna work on is kind of an inventory of what's been completed. I'm knocking on wood right now. If this McFeeters project ends as smooth as it looks like it will, we all are hopeful. And, East Sangerville seems to be advancing well, pretty much the way we described it at town meeting. I would love to be able to go to town meeting, and maybe the letter from the selectmen this year will be, here's what
We've accomplished.
we've worked on for the last 3 years. Here's how many culverts we've done. Here's how many miles of ditching we've done. Here's how many miles of pavement we've done. 'Cause
Without Public Works.
Yeah,
and I think you'll
Well, that's
find
the
that
point.
these numbers
Yeah.
are pretty impressive relative to what we had done, say, the previous 6 or 9 or 12 years. And
With the tax reduction.
yeah, and we did this without, raising taxes, and I just think, it's not a bragging thing, I just think a lot of people don't, because we go to these meetings and somebody raises their hand and says, nothing gets done. Well, I'm not gonna argue with it.
I still have a problem with what, at the last meeting and what Mr. Martin was saying was, and somebody else was trying to bring up the negative of not having the public works,
Oh,
or
yeah.
how there is a giant misconception in this town that when we had public works, that we did these things.
right.
And we,
You still didn't do.
we didn't do any ditching, we didn't do any culverts.
Yeah,
We didn't
yeah.
pave,
Yeah.
we didn't have an excavator. I mean, a lot of the stuff that, when we had public works, we were still subcontracting out. But a
Well-
lot of people don't understand that.
People attending that meeting a few weeks ago might have thought that the work that Seth was doing up here on McFeeters would have been done by
Yeah,
Public Works.
exactly,
That's just
exactly.
flat out false.
That's right.
So,
Yeah.
so that's why I would love to be able to share with everybody, here's what's actually gotten done in the last 36 months, and how's that compared to the previous 36 or 60 months?
Right. I mean, we were definitely, before, we were on an upward trend with taxes, not on it. And I'm pretty confident to say we've gotten a lot more road work done over the last couple of years.
And we haven't done it chintzy. I mean,
No,
you
no.
go up to East Sangerville, you and I talked about where they do 50 feet, they put in an inch, and they'd run away. We're doing serious
right.
road work here.
Right, right.
So, anyway, that's another project.
So did we decide, are we gonna shoot for the second week in February, which is 10 through the 14th?
I honestly, with one complaint, I'm not afraid to stay in the third week.
I would just say
we had
February.
10, 20 people but we
Right,
had a
one
very good
complaint.
turnout and you had one person.
Okay.
So
Alright,
if
that's
you're
fine
not
with
comfortable with the second, I would go to the third. If you want to try the second, I would stay with the second. But that's totally,
Earlier doesn't bother me in the least, and if I'm gonna err, I'd rather err on the early side than spill into March, or if something happens now, so if it's the
you get
second
too
week.
early, there is the weather issue. I mean, if it's too, you don't want to be super. So.
You can't even count on the weather.
I don't
No.
know.
No matter
Between
what.
that,
Could be snow
unless
next
you're gonna
week.
wait till April, it could be
That's
10
right.
below zero.
I've seen
That's
snow
right.
in April.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah, it's usually not 10 below zero, but we're
Yeah,
not
yeah,
gonna wait till
yeah,
April.
Yeah.
If you've
no.
jinxed us.
No, and it was really good because the printers were very happy because they weren't doing
Yep.
town report, annual
62,
report.
yeah.
It was great, so we
It was-
really efficiently got that done and through.
But it was so much of for me anyway, it was like a giant relief
Yes,
and a
to have it
breathe
Yeah.
to sit back and all these other towns are having theirs. It's like,
I know, it's like, oh,
We're not last.
ready to go.
Yeah.
We got our money, we're off and working.
Yeah, and it's very clunky trying to do,
Oh,
you're gonna find
oh.
even that 2 months, it's, there's rules, you can't spend money that isn't
you didn't
budgeted.
get that yet, you gotta wait,
Yeah.
Then there's not really any need for it.
No.
Right.
No, it's 100% budget. If you could, like I said, the way you could whip up a budget and get it through the committee and be all done April, right for January 2nd, we could have a meeting and.
You
that's
literally
perfect.
could do it.
I mean, it's just a matter of, it's not possible because of everything else, but there's no need to wait for March.
Okay.
I mean,
So you can tell them it will be in February.
Okay.
That's our goal.
Yes.
you just need more time if you're gonna add more fluff. And we don't add fluff, so we don't need more time.
Right, that's right.
So fluff-free zone.
I like that.
BMV registration fees.
Okay, we got an email last week saying tomorrow the motor vehicle fees are going to change. And then Trio did an update to our system and changed these fees, but I'm not sure, it's not something that you guys need to vote on before it's actually happening. It's, let's see, an act increasing municipal agent fees for motor vehicle registration.
Oh.
This law allows municipal agents to charge higher service fees for registrations for motor vehicles from $3 to $5 for renewals, we were charging $3, we're now charging $5, to new registrations go from $4 to $6.
Allows,
Allows,
but it's not required.
it's not required. And so I thought, even though for the last 3 or 4 days we've been charging the higher fees, I might behoove me to check in with you and see if you approved that. Because,
Yeah. Yes.
and then,
So you want like a motion and to
yeah, I
accept the
have,
change? Is that basically those two things?
those 2 things. The rest of it's all mandated. That one was not mandated, but allows, and so basically,
Couple bucks.
you did 1,763 registrations
Oh.
last year.
Oh.
So it's-
That's
you're
up.
talking,
That's not pretty
you're
bad.
talking like $3,500.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's good. I mean, yep.
So
So,
I just wanted
so, yes.
approval.
Do you want us to make a motion?
Please.
So I'll make a motion that we are going to
Set re-registrations at $5 and new registrations at $6.
set re-registrations at $5 and new registrations at $6.
And all in favor? We are all approving 3-0. GA ordinance renewal.
Okay, it's supposed to happen by the end of September. I missed it. So I've put up signs for a hearing right before our next
Yep,
meeting.
we've done those before.
Nobody, it shouldn't be a big
No, usually
No
not.
issue
nobody-
because it's,
We usually go in,
The way we've done it.
We
before,
wait,
you
we
set the
sit for
meeting
5 minutes.
6, set that for 6:01. We
And
open the meeting.
nobody's
We go to
here.
recess, then we have the hearing, then we come out, go
Right.
back into the meeting.
okay,
yep.
That way there are times we're aligned and we're not all sitting here
Right.
waiting for
Right.
6:15 or 6:20 here.
okay.
Yep,
So the only difference is I've printed them off. We generally just use MMAs. Yep. I don't know if I kept a copy for myself. Yep, I did, aren't I good? So they added a definition for homelessness. You'll see that MRSA is crossed out everywhere in the policy and is now MRS. Don't know why, but it's not really a big issue. And to go with the homelessness, they've declared homelessness is an emergency. And presumptive eligibility, a person who has provided shelter in an emergency shelter for the homeless located in the municipality shall be presumed to be eligible. Eligibility may not exceed 30 days within a 12-month period. Full eligibility must be verified prior to assistance. So basically, if you're living in a homeless shelter, you can ask for general assistance. And then the other thing is cellular phones used to not be eligible, and now it says except when deemed essential by the overseer for medical or work-related purposes. And then all of the appendixes will change. That's the maximum rates that they set every year. So I take it we vote on the ordinance, and then we vote to accept the new appendices, and I send the new appendices signature page to the state, to DHS.
So everything that's in light print is new,
Yeah,
and that's by the state.
yeah, and the ordinance is 125 pages, and those are the changes.
Oh, I see, so you just printed the
I
changes.
just printed the changes.
I see.
I didn't think you wanted to look through
No,
the rest of it,
no.
because you've approved it all before.
Yeah,
Yes, basically we approve the amendments and then we'll approve it as a whole afterwards.
okay,
Yep.
Or just make a motion to approve
Yep.
with the amendments.
right. So was there any homelessness defined before this?
No, no. That was added.
okay. So that'll be,
Yeah,
there'll
our
be a
next
hearing
meeting.
scheduled for, in our
Yeah.
next meeting on the 9th.
Yes.
And I think they have the same posting requirement.
It has to be 7 days prior to your meeting, and so I went and posted,
Okay, you're already on it.
because,
Yep,
yeah,
all good.
because I'm going away, and
Yep, no, that works. No, plenty of notice.
so. And again, it's not a hot topic, so I don't think anybody's going to be,
Right.
Okay, item 7 we've covered. Is there any correspondence?
no.
Any requests for additional agenda items? Any selectmen's concerns? Hearing, seeing none, executive session we've done, motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
All
Second.
in favor, we are adjourned at 6:40. Thank you, everybody.